Hey, what's up? This is my story. I was a young, fun-loving, energetic dude who enjoyed life. I was a confident, fit, muscular dude, and the ladies seemed to like me. Not trying to be arrogant, just happened to be lucky that way. I was an adrenaline junkie. I loved driving my crotch rocket, jumping out of planes, skydiving whenever I could. I had a great group of friends, better than anyone could ask for. I enjoyed partying, a little bit of drinking, actually probably a lot of drinking, but it was a great time. I could eat anything that I wanted, and I mean anything. French fries, pizzas, burgers, anything I wanted. I also finished business school. I had a pretty good office job. I made good money. I worked with great people. I was also fortunate enough to visit the ocean 2 times a year, go on multiple vacations. Whether it was California or Mexico, I was living the dream. I eventually grew tired of the business world though. I needed a change, so I decided to start a lawn and landscaping company. I needed to get out of the office, but before I did that, I decided to work a summer season of road construction to save some money for my new endeavor. Work lots of hours, save a bunch of cash. It was the first physical job I ever had, and it sucked. Way harder working 14 hours a day compared to 8. After a few weeks of working, I noticed that I began to have some stomach cramps. I felt a little crappy. Then I noticed that I was using the washroom a lot more, going to the canned lots. My poops were mushy and unformed. I had looked down and I noticed that I had mucus and blood in the toilet. I was officially scared. My grandma was diagnosed with colitis a few years earlier, so I thought I might have it too. I heard that they said it was genetic, so it could be a possibility. I looked up IBDs. My symptoms matched Crohn's and colitis. It painted this awesome picture of what I had to look forward to if that was the case. It sucked and I was scared, but I knew it was time to go see the doctor. It really was. I put my pride to the side and I went and seen the doctor. I told the doctor that I thought I had an IBD and I wanted to get tested. He was cool with that. Sent me to get some tests. Tests came back, and the results were inconclusive. Didn't tell me anything. I was still pretty adamant, so I requested a colonoscopy. I remember getting to the colonoscopy. I was scared. I didn't want anybody to put anything up my ass. I remember the drugs didn't work. I was awake through the entire procedure. I heard the doctor saying how bad my intestines were. After the procedure, I was trying to find out what the scoop was with the doctor. He said he couldn't confirm it, but it looked like it could be Crohn's disease, but I'd have to wait a few weeks for my diagnosis. Make me wait a few weeks. I remember D-Day. I was so stressed going to the appointment. I got in a car accident, spun out 2 times on the road. It was a snowy day. I rode off my brother's car. It was brutal. Then I get there for the diagnosis. The doctor sits me down, and he tells me I have severe Crohn's colitis. My life's over. Not 1, but 2 diseases. This sucked. What was I supposed to do? He suggests putting me on drugs ASAP. I was confused about everything, but I knew I wanted to sort of try this on my own. I didn't want to do the drugs right away. I wanted to take a different approach. I remember getting home from that appointment. I was stressed. I had my first anxiety attack. It was brutal. It was like a heart attack. I'd never been this stressed in my life. All I could think about was how bad this disease was and how effed up my life was. It was over. I had no idea what to do. I dropped down and did push-ups until I collapsed. It was the only way I felt like I could get rid of that stress that I was holding. But I had a friend bring me an emergency anxiety pill. I was definitely thinking some thoughts of suicide, and it was very scary. I was defeated and tired. But I was determined. I wanted to beat this. I remember through some of the research I did before, there were some changes that you can do for people with IBDs, and I made some changes. I tried to cook different, eat some different things. Got rid of dairy, less spicy food. I noticed a little bit of improvement. But then shit got worse. I went out for my birthday. I enjoyed a birthday cake and pizza at my favorite pizza place. Not the best idea, but it was delicious. That night, one pizza later, I got brutal stomach pains. My first bad flare was happening. My stomach blew up. It was rock hard. I couldn't poop. Never had I experienced this kind of pain. Felt like I was a pregnant lady giving birth. I went full-fledged IBD in a matter of minutes or hours, whatever you want to say. My flare lasted weeks. I pooped blood and mucus 20 plus times a day. I was defeated. I didn't leave the toilet. I laid on the bathroom floor. I had night sweats. My bed was soaked every night. I had zero sex drive. My tool didn't even work. I couldn't tolerate most foods. I lost 50 plus pounds. I couldn't take this skeleton that looked back at me in the mirror. I contemplated suicide. Never have I thought thoughts like that. This is the worst situation I could imagine. It was brutal. But I remember praying by the toilet. Just felt helpless. I cried for the first time in 10 years. I'm a hard ass. I said sorry for anything that I previously done. I asked God to help me beat this. It's funny how you drop to your knees and pray when you need to. But after that night, things began to subside and get a little bit better. But I remember the day that everything really changed. It was the day that I bought $300 tickets to watch a great man speak. And that great man is a little self-help guru by the name of Anthony Robbins. Tony Robbins. A great man. He was a dude that taught me about a concept called modeling. Find someone who has the results you seek, ask them what they did to get there, and copy it to the exact detail. Success leaves clues. Follow their blueprint. Sounded pretty simple. I tried it, and it worked very successfully. This man changed my life. I have the utmost gratitude for his teachings and contribution to my life. Thank you so much, Tony, if you're ever listening to this. I went on a mad mission of finding people who were cured. I contacted anyone who was in long-term remission, 5, 10, 20 plus years. I asked them as many questions as possible. I read every book I can get my hands on, from a dude that read 0 books to reading a book to 2 books a week. It was crazy. I plotted everything down on a large paper. I began to see there were quite a few common denominators, similarities to these things that people were doing to help heal themselves. I used these common denominators. I became my own Frankenstein, experimenting, implementing the strategies I learned. My life changed dramatically. Within a few months, I was doing better. I was gaining weight again. I learned lessons going back and forth in my progress. Most of my symptoms disappeared really quickly, but some took a few years. I tweaked the diet. I stayed consistent with my healing. Within 2 years, I was completely healed of my IBD. I was able to pretty much eat anything I wanted. And actually, I was able to eat anything I wanted. Then I started a website helping people, paying it forward, creating good content, providing lots of free tools. I was fortunate enough to be part of many people's healing journeys. But eventually that site got a little bit old and outdated. I needed to change something. I was failing to create stuff. I was almost bored with it. But I really wanted to create something in a new way. Then I had a great new idea. I wanted to help people out again with IBDs and other gut issues. And then boom, it came to me. The Gut Ninja. A new cool concept. A modern site that embraces a KISS approach, creating simple, usable tools and strategies. I think that anybody can beat these diseases. You too can go from sick and skinny to being ripped, fit, and happy. And obviously healthy and happy are more important than being ripped and fit. Just saying, it's a selling feature there. I love helping people. I'll spend the rest of my life creating life-changing content. I'll help people realize they can overcome these shitty diseases. I hope to hear from you. I'm telling you that you can beat this.